I've brought Henry's washing. Henry? Henry Pearson. His washing. It is Miss Micklehurst, isn't it?
Yes.
Well, I thought I'd better bring it round bright and early, just in case you might feel like doing it before you left for the office. I'm Henry's wife, by the way.
Oh, are you?
Yes, do you think I could come in for a moment? I need to explain the way he likes his shirts. Thank you. It's the cuffs and collars he's so particular about.
Mrs. Pearson, I think you're under a slight misapprehension. I don't do your husband's washing.
Well, of course, I realise you haven't been doing it up until now. But I'm sure you won't mind sharing Henry's rough with Henry's smooth.
I'm afraid I don't follow you.
Oh, dear. Now, I was convinced you'd be ahead of me. Now, how can I put this without going all round the houses? Well, for instance, yours, I believe. Incidentally, love the shade. Cerise, isn't it?
Vermilion, I think.
Vermilion? Oh, I must get some. Now, I'll be doing his singlet, shorts and pyjamas, and I've given you his shirt, socks and handkerchiefs. And perhaps next week, just to be fair, we'll do a swap. And you can have the more erotic items.
Mrs. Pearson, look. I just got out of bed. I'm not even awake. If this is your way of telling me you suspect Henry and I of having an affair, I don't find it very amusing.
Oh, it's not meant to be amusing. Please believe me, Miss Micklehurst. I'm only trying to find a practical solution to a very commonplace problem. And I want you to know I bear you no resentment whatsoever. In fact, I shall be rather surprised if I don't grow to like you enormously. Now then, shirts. May I? Oh, please. The one thing Henry really hates is for you to fold back the cuff when you're ironing the sleeve. It's just a fad. He prefers a soft edge. I think it's something his mother used to do. And as you probably come to know, Mummy can do no wrong. Incidentally, it's murder trying to get lipstick off. So if you take my advice, you'll try kissing him higher up.
Mrs. Pearson.
Look, do call me Linda. Neither of us will feel like discussing the really intimate details until we get on first name terms.
Look, what I was going to say... Linda.
You see, much better. You're Kathleen, aren't you?
Yes.
I shall call you Katie. Much friendlier. You were saying, Katie?
Look, I couldn't do Henry's washing. I couldn't do it.
Oh, my very words 7 years ago when we came back up our honeymoon. The very idea of washing Henry's wife fronts absolutely terrified me to death. But fortunately, these modern-day detergents are everything they say on the packet. Besides, we can't turn our Henry out with dirty shirts on now, can we? And you do know how fussy he is about his socks. Or perhaps you don't.
I don't.
Oh, my dear, he's obsessed with socks. He'll put a clean pair on just to have his hair cut.
Well, I couldn't wash them.
Look, it's so simple, Katie. You fill your bowl with lukewarm water, add a few soap flakes, quick swish round, and hey presto, Henry's got happy feet again. Soap them with your tights. I do.
Tell me one thing. How did you find out?
About washing socks.
About us. Did Henry tell you himself?
Oh, good heavens, no. Henry thought I was wise to you. He'd have kittens. No, he still thinks I'm worried about that redhead from the typing pool.
Which redhead in the typing pool?
Oh, it's all right. There was never anything in it. She was the one who always left things in his car when he gave her a lift home.
Like what?
Shoes, purse, umbrella. Such a careless girl. I dread to think what her typing's like.
Not Angela Calman.
Is it? Bit bosomy. Talks with a lisp. Anyway, I knew her heart wasn't in it the day she left a pound of pork sausages in the glove compartment.
You're obviously not placing me in the same category as Angela Calman.
Katie, please. I wouldn't insult your flair and talent as a temptress. Oh, no, you've really got him going. I can always tell when he's turned on. He sings in his bath with a French accent and goes mad with the talcum powder. Anyway, Anyway, that's why I've decided to bring it out all in the open. Then he can judge for himself which side his bread's buttered.
Might not be bread and butter that he's hungry for. When do you propose to tell him that you've discovered his dark secret?
Well, now that is a problem. Because you know how he likes to think of himself so inscrutable. He sulked for a fortnight last February, and that was only because I found out he'd joined the Liberals. Did you know he'd joined the Liberals?
Yes, I am a Liberal.
Politically?
I was the one who persuaded him to join.
Oh, well, I knew he'd been got at. You see, for years now, he's been such a dedicated don't know. Well, look here, perhaps you could do it.
Do what?
Well, on second thoughts, I think I'd better tell him myself when he gets back from Edinburgh tonight. It'd be rather messy for you, having to explain about his mother.
What about his mother?
Well, I wasn't going to bring her up until we got the system working properly. You see, she comes to stay round about now for a fortnight, and I wasn't sure whether you'd prefer to have her for the first week or the second.
Are you mad?
Mad? I'm furious, but what can one do? She's his mother.
I am definitely not having Henry's mother staying with me.
Well, I must be there when you tell her. Her face will be a study. Incidentally, she's arriving Sunday morning. So perhaps you can deliver your ultimatum when we sit down for lunch.
Sit down for lunch? Do you honestly think I could come to your house for Sunday lunch?
It'll be a pleasure. Not only that, I've got you down for cooking it.
Mrs. Pearson.
Linda, please.
All right, Linda. Look, I'll admit that Henry and I have developed an affection for each other. But after all, we do work in the same office, and human nature being what it is, there are moments when we simply have to communicate our finer feelings.
Oh, I'll go further. In its own way, it's rather touching and quite beautiful. And if I wasn't in such a hurry, I think I might cry. Now, when can I collect Henry's bottle?
You can't. Apart from everything else, this is a third-floor flat, and I don't have access to a clothesline.
How positively primeval. How on earth do you manage?
Very nicely, thank you. I have 2 yards of string stretched across my bath with 3 plastic pegs in it. Fine for tights and panties, but hardly up to the full range of Henry's winter woolies.
I do take your point.
Then perhaps you'll take another. Come what may, I have no intention of colouring my crowded life with nocturnal visits to the local laundrette.
I should hope not. If Henry thought his socks were whizzing round in full public view, he'd go flat-footed. No, you must come and use my spin dryer. Pop round tonight, and while you're there, I'll introduce you to the mechanics of my split-level cooker.
Why? Linda, why would I want to go through with any of this?
It's our joint responsibility now, you know. And if he's going to have the 7-year itch, the only sensible thing for us to do is to let him have a jolly good scratch. See you tonight. Don't bother to see me out. You might be late for work.
I'm home, love. Where are you, Pat? Oh, food. Wonderful. Linda?
Just coming, Henry. How was Edinburgh?
Well, they're still taking English money. I said to Alex McIntyre, oh, darling.
I didn't know you knew him that well.
Linda, that dress, it's very, very elegant.
Do you really like it?
Oh, it's fantastic, love. Have I paid for that?
Not yet. I picked it up this morning. I got it on approval.
Well, it certainly wins mine. Oh,
Oh, Henry, you've brought me flowers. Oh, you are a treasure. And they're my favourite colour, too. Vermilion.
Linda, you look marvellous. What have you got all dressed up for?
Well, for you, my pet. For the most devoted husband any woman can have.
Linda, what's the special occasion? Oh, it couldn't be that I've forgotten our wedding anniversary, could it?
No, dear, it couldn't. You forgot that last week.
Did I? Oh, yes, of course I did. Oh, fancy me forgetting. I'd forgotten.
Well, you do work terribly hard. You're always having to work late at the office these days. It's a wonder you're not absolutely exhausted.
Well, you see, love, it is our busy time. I mean, I really need to be hard at it every night.
Did you say you were working on your financial returns?
Did I? Oh, yes, I did. Actually, it's budgetary control. You see, due to the increase in turnover, I have to find the right balance and check the figures for any discrepancy.
I've no doubt it's very demanding work.
Oh, it is, love, it is. I mean, that's why I was very glad when this trip to Edinburgh came up, so I could get my mind off it. How's your day been, love?
Oh, very uneventful. So far.
Did anybody phone from the office?
Not while I've been in. Why? Were you expecting a call?
No, love. It's just that, well, I didn't tell them what time I'd be getting back, and I just wondered if she rang to check.
She?
He? He? Did I say she?
Yes.
No, he. Mr. Kathleen Postlethwaite, my head bookmaker, keeper, good bloke, tends to worry.
Henry, why don't you mix us a couple of drinks while I'm making the cheese sauce?
Perfect, love. I'll do that very thing. Don't worry, pet, I'll get it.
Hello, Henry. This is a pretty pass, isn't it?
Pretty pass it may be, but this is certainly no place to make it. Is there anything wrong? At the office?
No, everything's fine at the office. It's your socks that are giving all the trouble.
Pardon? But, darling, you shouldn't have come here. I mean, this is my home.
What else could I do with only 2 yards of string and 3 clothes pegs?
Now, steady, darling, you're getting emotional again. Look, why don't you go back to the flat and have a nice early night, and we can discuss it all in the morning?
I can't, Henry. These clothes are still wet, and your wife's got a spin dryer.
Kathleen, this is no time for petty jealousy.
But, darling, she knows.
Yes, I know she knows. She's been using it for months.
Us, Henry, us. Haven't you had a talk with her?
I keep telling you, I'll tell her about us in my own good time, but I won't be rushed into these things. Now, look, will you please go?
Who is it, Henry?
Nobody, love. It's just a lady from the office.
Oh, hello.
Hello?
So that's a complete check on all the invoices, and if they don't tally with the order books, we'll have to adjust our estimates and revise our income margins. Kathleen, Miss Micklehurst, has just brought me some very urgent documents to study overnight. Thank you, darling. Miss Micklehurst, I'll bring these in with me tomorrow morning.
Henry,
Yes, love?
I shouldn't fill Katie's head with such rubbish. She's got work to do. It's through here, dear.
You didn't tell him, did you?
Katie, there are some things that husbands should be allowed to find out for themselves.
Well, I hope he makes the most of his privileges.
I like her, Henry. She's got character.
Linda, what's going on?
I couldn't be absolutely sure, my love, but whatever it is, it's now out in the open. Oh, that'll be Jerry Saunders. Could you let him in while I help Katie load her laundry?
Jerry Saunders?
Oh, I didn't tell you, did I? I've invited him around to have dinner with me tonight.
Jerry Saunders?
Yes, to have dinner with me.
Jerry Saunders?
Oh, Henry, I am sorry. Did you think I'd cooked it for you? Better let him in.
Jerry Saunders?
She's ironed your handkerchiefs beautifully. But I'm not sure whether I like this concertina effect she's got with your shirt. But who knows? Perhaps you'll start a new trend. Oh, dear. Now, what's obsessed her to sew these buttons back on the inside? I think your only hope there is to wear that one back to front and pretend you're a parson.
Look, if you don't mind, I'd rather not discuss my wearing apparel with anybody at the moment. I'm too upset.
Well, I did warn you. But if you're going to go charging off into the night and come back munching something you've bought from a hot dog stall, you've only yourself to blame. I begged you not to eat those fried onions.
Well, I wasn't going to sit there and starve, was I? I hadn't had anything to eat since I left Edinburgh. That was only a Scotch egg.
Well, I'm surprised you didn't get your Katie to rustle you up some beans on toast. I bet that girl's sheer poetry with a tin opener.
You didn't expect me to settle for beans on toast, did you, while you were tucking into beef stroganoff and Jerry... Saunders?
Well, we did offer you a glass of wine.
Oh, thank you very much. You would have choked me. Jerry...
Saunders,
of all people. You know, I can't stand him. His conceit drives me up the wall.
And that's not the only reason why I invited him. He doesn't like you either.
Linda, what are you trying to do to me?
I'm offering you the best of both worlds, and I can't understand why you're not jumping at it. Don't you see, Henry? If you're going to have romantic diversions, it's only fair that we should be open and honest about it. Otherwise, you'll develop a guilt complex. And a thing like that could bring on your sinuses again.
Why have you suddenly gone all Freudian? Now, listen, Kathleen, Miss Micklehurst and I enjoy a very good working relationship. But, as often happens, it's, well, blossomed into mutual affection. Now, what's wrong with that?
You tell me, how big's the blossom?
All right. So I've been round to a flat and stayed too long, discussing the quarterly pay flow. But, I mean, what does that mean? I mean, every boss nowadays has a thing going with his secretary.
My point exactly. Do your own thing, only do it openly.
But why have you got her running around here, doing my laundry and cooking my meals?
Well, I had to take you for better or for worse, Henry. I don't see why she shouldn't. As a matter of fact, I was going to suggest she moved in with us.
Oh, yes? Move in with us?
Well, it would save a lot of time and trouble. Not to mention the expense.
Oh, no, that's ridiculous. That really is ridiculous. Besides, it wouldn't be natural for a man's wife to be living in the same house as the woman he's supposed to be having an affair with. I mean, it could put him off his stroke.
Well, I'm sorry, Henry, that's the way it's going to be. And you're just going to have to adjust to it.
Well, nobody could adjust to that situation. It's biologically impossible. Of course, I know why you're doing this. You know, you've resorted to this so you can play fast and loose with Jerry Saunders.
Sauce for the goose, my love. Although, to be honest, he is a bit of a bore. On second thoughts, I think I'll give Mr. Saunders the big E.
A very wise decision.
How do you feel about Frank Tillett?
Frank Tillett?
There's something rather fetching about Frank Tillett.
Now, look, it's not fetching, it's here. Linda, haven't you thought about the neighbours?
Yes, I have thought about the neighbours. But I don't fancy any of them.
All right, now, look. I'll get Kathleen transferred to another department, and I promise that I'll never see her again. Now, will that do?
No, Henry, it won't. You're going to have to let this thing run its own course. Until you've got it all out of your system.
Who do you think I am, egg-bound?
It's 10 to 9, Henry. You'll be late for work.
Well, how can I work with this on my mind? All right. Look, we'll play it your way. But I just want to warn you about one thing. If I turn queer, it's going to be your fault.
Darling, how can you let her come between us like this after all we've meant to each other? You've been cold and distant with me all day. Yes, you have. When Mr. Burridge came in with the weekly wages return, you couldn't get me off your knee fast enough. Oh, just a minute, darling, there's someone at the door.
Sorry about this, Katie, but I must speak with you urgently.
What is it this time? Is it my day for pressing his suits?
No, it's Friday for that. No, I must speak with you urgently. It's serious.
Well, I'm just on the phone. Yes. Later, Mummy. Later. I'll ring you over the weekend. Yes. Sorry about that.
Oh, don't apologise. It's not the first time he's been called an old woman.
Well, what's so urgent?
Katie, can I be brutally frank?
I don't remember you having much difficulty up to now.
Well, I don't know how you're going to take this. I think you better brace yourself.
Yes?
Well, I've this terrible feeling our Henry's being unfaithful to us.
Does this mean we can split the laundry 3 ways?
I knew you wouldn't believe me. That's why I brought this. I found it in his car this morning. Guess whose?
Give up?
Angela Coleman's.
He wouldn't dare.
Look at the inscription underneath.
To Angela, with all my love, Henry. The swine.
Oh, Katie, we mustn't judge him too harshly. He's a very confused man at the moment.
He'll be confused all right when I've finished with him. I'll iron his shirts for him and he'll still be wearing them.
Look, Katie, what I thought we might do is to go round and see her and put our case jointly. Apart from everything else, it's not fair on Henry. I mean, how is the poor man managing to fit us all in?
Angela Calman. No wonder he's always nipping off to the typing pool to check his dictation. Of all the low-down, two-timing chiselers.
We'll just have to try and convince her enough's enough.
Look, don't count me in on any of this. From now on, I wash my hands of Mr. Henry Pearson. He's chased me round those filing cabinets for the last time. In fact, I'm going straight back to the office, and I'm going to tell him what time it is.
Yes, he shouldn't be working as late as this. Not even with Angela Coleman. Better let me have the compact, Katie. I want to face him with it when he walks in.
The louse. He never gave me anything like that. All I've had in 3 months is the promise of promotion and an occasional pat on the bottom. Your husband has been a very big disappointment to me.
Well, think what a letdown it's been for me. I've got to have his mother for a whole fortnight. Is that you, Henry?
No, it's me, Henry. Hello, love. Oh, it smells good. What is it? Who's cooked it, and who's it for?
It's devil chicken. I cooked it. And it's for you.
I don't think I can face it, pet.
Oh, you sound depressed. What's the matter?
Miss Micklehurst lost her marbles.
Oh, poor dear. I didn't know she played.
She's asked for a transfer.
Who's she going to play for now? Isn't she going to wash your little socks anymore?
No. She's told me exactly what she's going to do with my little socks. And soap and water doesn't come into it. She's a very funny girl, you know. She says I'm not being fair to you.
To me?
Yes. She's convinced I'm having a raging affair with Angela Calman.
Angela who?
Calman, one of our typists. You remember Angela? No, she's got... I used to give her a lift home when she lived in Freshfield Drive.
Oh, the redhead.
Well, I don't know what colour her head was, love, but I know she hadn't got very much in it. Her spelling had to be seen to be believed. Do you know, if you dictated the word successful, she gave you 3 of everything.
And Katie thinks you're in love with her.
Swears blind.
If this is Jerry Saunders, tell him not tonight, because I'm otherwise engaged.
Not tonight, because she's otherwise engaged. Pardon? Oh, yes. Yeah, could you say that again, but slowly, please? Thank you. It's a Mr. Hemmings. He's a jeweller, and he's managed to change the inscription from Angela back to Linda, and it's £1.25.
Hello, Mr. Hemmings. Yes, thank you very much. I'll call round and collect it tomorrow morning. Thank you. Bye.
What's all that about?
That is all part of a very important plan.
Doesn't by any chance concern me.
You're all it does concern. Because, Henry...
Yes?
The next time you get the 7-year itch, we're going to try calamine lotion.
Are we?